What's going on, guys? Welcome back to Benchwarmer Sports. And in today's video, I kind of wanted to get into a topic that's been really on my mind for the last couple of days. And it's all because of a certain Browns player who has been talking about Browns fans on social media and in the media about how Browns fans are just too negative. We're too negative about the team, about how we could do this season. And, it's coming from a certain player known as Juan Thornhill, who we just signed from the Kansas City Chiefs, who has won 2 Super Bowls in the last 4 years, been to 3 in the last 4 years. And I kind of just wanted to give you guys my thoughts and opinions about Juan Thornhill's statements and stuff like that. As you guys know, if you guys have, followed me long enough, you guys have watched my videos, you guys know I come straight from the heart. I don't BS anything. I give you guys 100% an honest fan's reaction and opinion about stuff regarding Cleveland sports and sports in general. So this is coming from 100% of a Cleveland sports fan, and this video is going to be more focused on the Browns, but I feel like I can speak for Cleveland sports fans in general and for all three major sports teams here in Cleveland: Browns, Cavs, Guardians, stuff like that. Because what happened, if you guys are not Cleveland fans and if you guys have not been paying attention, Juan Thornhill was signed to the Cleveland Browns. He came from the Kansas City Chiefs, and on Twitter last week or 2 weeks ago, he basically called out Browns fans for being too negative about the season and about how Browns fans are not really as high on next season as maybe he is. So he's just saying like the Browns fans are being a little bit too negative. Then he goes on to interview with the media after OTAs, and he basically just doubles down and says that that Kansas City Chiefs fans, when they were in Kansas City, they were maybe quote unquote cocky, and the players in Kansas City fed off of that, and they had a lot of success with that. And so he just wants to bring some of the Kansas City flair and confidence to the Cleveland Browns and to the fan base, and that the fan base needs to reciprocate that cockiness, that positivity, that confidence, so that the Browns can succeed. Well, my opinion about this is that's all fine and good, and I understand Juan Thornhill's coming from a place of genuine excitement, genuine confidence. The guy has won 2 Super Bowls. He's been to 3 Super Bowls in the last 4 years. And, he wants to succeed in Cleveland, right? He wants Cleveland to succeed. He wants Browns fans to be happy about the Browns, and to have great expectations for next season. But the problem is that I think Juan Thornhill and a couple of the guys who have been, maybe complaining about fans not being positive enough, is the fact that Cleveland fans, especially Browns fans, have been sold a bunch of false goods in the past. And every single time I was thinking about this, about his statements, about how Browns fans have been too negative and that they need to be more positive, looking forward to this upcoming season, I keep going back to 2019 after we signed Odell Beckham Jr., we got Olivier Vernon, and we got a bunch of other guys who, everybody around Cleveland, around the media, everywhere was just saying the Browns are going to go to the playoffs. Browns are going to go to the playoffs. This was after Baker Mayfield set the rookie touchdown record in 2018 after he had 28 touchdowns. He looked like the best rookie quarterback in the 2018 draft. You had Sam Darnold struggling in New York. You had Josh Rosen struggling in Arizona. Lamar Jackson didn't really even play. That was Joe Flacco's last year in Baltimore. You had Josh Allen, who didn't really play that well in his first year in Buffalo. So Baker Mayfield was riding high. A lot of people were talking about, wow, he broke the rookie touchdown record. We're talking about the 14 interceptions that he also threw. But yeah, that going on. You had a premium stud wide receiver in Odell Beckham Jr. coming to this team. Probably the most talented, wide receiver we have ever seen since probably, the 80s maybe. Teaming up with his old college buddy, Jarvis Landry. Everybody was hyped about that. You also had Nick Chubb, who almost had 1,000 yards in his rookie season. Probably should have had 1,000 yards. Just finished with 4 yards underneath Then you got Olivier Vernon opposite of Myles Garrett, who was a really good addition because everybody was really high on Olivier Vernon. Everything was poised during that season, leading up to that since March, because when we got Odell Beckham Jr., we got him in March. So from March until September 11th, I believe, or September 10th, when we played the Titans in the opening game, everything was built up to that point about how the Browns, this is the first time the Browns are going to be in the playoffs since 2002. Everybody's going to be so insane. Baker Mayfield's going to probably throw for 35 touchdowns. Odell Beckham Jr., Jarvis Landry, they're going to have over 1,500 yards receiving. Nick Chubb's going to have over 1,000 yards rushing. Myles Garrett can probably get 15 sacks. Olivier Vernon's going to chip in with 10. And you're going to have all of this and this and this and this, and everything's going to happen with this. And then we got to the Tennessee game. And you got blown out like 41-16. Then you go 2-6. And then you finish the season 6-10. And you fire Freddie Kitchens, who you also hyped up as well, because that was Baker's guy. That was the guy who reshaped the Browns offense in 2018 after you fired Hugh Jackson. Freddie Kitchens knows how to game plan for Baker Mayfield. He's going to know this. It doesn't matter if he's a first-time head coach. It's Baker Mayfield. Baker Mayfield's going to be the savior of the Cleveland Browns. He got fired the next year. Then you got 2020. You got no expectations, or at least low expectations. First-year head coach again, Kevin Stefanski, coming in from Minnesota. Pretty much the same roster. Pretty much the same roster as last year. No expectations. Low expectations. They go 11-5 and they make wild card, and they beat the Pittsburgh Steelers, and probably is the greatest game I've ever seen as a Cleveland Browns fan in my 21 years of Browns fandom. And I will never forget that night. Then you get to 2021. Expectations are very high through the roof. Browns went to the wild card round. They got to the divisional round against Kansas City. We're one play away, one missed helmet-to-helmet call away from possibly facing the Buffalo Bills in the AFC Championship game. Baker Mayfield was very bad the first half of 2020, but he was top 5 caliber quarterback in the second half of 2020. Nick Chubb is one of the best running backs in the NFL. Myles Garrett's one of the best defensive linemen in the NFL. You got Odell Beckham Jr. coming back from injury. He's going to be just fine in the 2021 season. Jarvis Landry is going to be back. You got a bunch of guys. Jadeveon Clowney, you signed him for the first time opposite Myles Garrett after Olivier Vernon didn't really pan out and he got injured. He tore his Achilles in the last game of the year. Oh, the Browns are going to be very good. They may even be better than 11 wins. And then you get to week 2 and Baker Mayfield tears his labrum and everything goes to hell in a handbasket. And you finish 7-10 after a tumultuous, disappointing season where you went to the divisional round last year. So expectations were high at that point. Then you get to last year. You get Deshaun Watson, who is coming in after having 27 sexual misconduct allegations against him. Baker Mayfield wants to leave. You get a PR hit because of the Deshaun Watson thing. Your defensive line, not really looking too good with Jadeveon Clowney and a bunch of nobodies. You don't have any defensive tackles. Everybody's gone. You've got a guy who was on your defensive tackle, your defensive line, who went crazy, unfortunately, and everybody else left. Your linebackers are not as good as they once were, but your secondary is still good. But then you get to the point where Deshaun Watson gets suspended for 6 games. Mary Sue Robinson. Oh, 6 games. That's nothing. He's going to come back against the Baltimore Ravens in October. That's going to be great. As long as we get to 3-3 or 4-2. That's what I said. As long as we get to 3-3 or 4-2, we should be good. Then the NFL appealed that, bumps it up to 11 games, and Jacoby Brissett's your quarterback for 2/3 of the season. And he did all he could. And the Browns, by the time Deshaun Watson got back, were, I believe, 4-7, and were just out of it. They were out of it. So I think what I'm trying to get at is that Juan Thornhill needs to realize it's fine having positive vibes only, having good vibes only, having that be, the thing that you want to bring to Cleveland. What I think he needs to realize is that I apologize. My dog just started digging on my carpet for some reason. But what I think he needs to realize is that Browns fans have been sold this stuff before. We have. We have been sold this stuff before. And the problem is that we have had so many times where people have been telling Browns fans that we should be excited for this season. We should be excited for this season. We should be expecting 13 wins. We should be expecting going 12-5 and going to the playoffs. Only for the Browns to let us down. It's like having your heart broken so many times after you've had so many different, experiences with this team. You believe that they're on the right track. You believe that they're going to do something for you. If I just put my faith in this team, they have all the talent. They have everything that they need to be successful. And yet they still find ways to absolutely not be successful, even though they have every single reason to be successful. That's the problem. And that's why Browns fans are not positive. It's because we've been sold this before. And I'm not saying Juan Thornhill is an idiot. I'm not saying that he's wrong for feeling that way or for wanting to believe that thing. I'm just saying to him, dude, you've been here for 5 minutes. I mean, I understand you're trying to be positive, but you've been here for 5 minutes. And if you haven't had the year in and year out experience of being a Cleveland sports fan to know how much disappointment and heartbreak and I want to say betrayal, but that's probably too strong of a word. But just the disappointment and the sadness of just putting your heart and soul into a team where everything on paper and on the surface looks to be so unbelievably successful. It's built to be successful. Yet they find ways to absolutely not be successful. That's the problem. So no, Cleveland Browns fans are not negative at all. They're not negative. We're practical. We're realistic. That's the problem. We are realistic. Now, to a certain degree, can we sometimes be over emotional? Can I be over emotional? Yes. Have you not seen my videos? If you guys have seen my Browns rants, you guys know I get emotional. Because you know why? I do the same thing. I put my heart and soul in this team. I believe in this team. I want them to be good. Because what they need to realize, what people need to realize, is that the Cleveland Browns, out of the two other teams, the Cavaliers and the Guardians in Cleveland, the Cleveland Browns represent Cleveland. That I don't think people realize that around the country. The Cleveland Browns represent Cleveland in a way that I don't think people understand. Like, Clevelanders they feel like the Cleveland Browns are a representation of the city. They're supposed to be tough, gritty, hardworking. They put their nose to the grindstone and they try and succeed by doing everything the right way and doing it with hard work. And when that team that's supposed to be representing you has been a laughingstock and has not met expectations, people lose faith. People lose the benefit of the doubt. They lose the benefit of the doubt. And that's why the Browns need to be successful in order to make fans more positive. That's what I think Juan Thornhill needs to realize. You need to be successful. You need to be consistently successful for Cleveland Browns fans to be positive, because we have not had anything consistently positive with this team. We've had little blips of positivity, but the one thing that the Browns have been consistent at they have been consistently terrible. They have been consistently bad. They have been consistently depressing to watch. So yes, people are not going to be overly ecstatic because we have been dealt this hand before. You got to go out on the field and prove it to me. Prove to me why I should be invested and why I should be excited for the next week, for the next year, for the next 5 years. That's not my job. That's not my job. My job is not to be overly optimistic. Your job is to make me optimistic. Because if you don't, if you're going to be bad, I'm not going to be optimistic about it. I'm not. And that's why Browns fans have not been optimistic, because we haven't had any reason to be optimistic. That's the point. That is the point of this video. So no, Browns fans, we are not too negative. We are not negative at all. The reason why we are negative is because the Browns have been negative. If anybody's been negative in this relationship between fans and the team, it's been the Browns. It's been the Browns. So that's going to be it for this video, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Let me know in the comments section down below. Do you guys think Browns fans are too toxic? Let me know in the comment section below. Also, if you have not hit that subscribe button, hit that subscribe button. 76% of you guys who watch my videos do not subscribe to the channel for some reason. I'm a lovable guy. This is a lovable channel. This is lovable content. So hit that subscribe button. Subscribe to the channel. We're trying to get to 1,000 subscribers. Thank you to every single 592 of you who have subscribed to this channel. Like the video as well. Helps out in the algorithm. I will see you guys all in another video. Take care and go Browns.